My name is Lizzie. Each fortnight I'm bringing along a different origami fold to encourage you to take some time out for your well-being. Doing something really beautiful that you can focus on, forget everything else, I think is such a valuable thing to do, whether you're a patient, colleague at the hospital at UCLH, or anyone at all. I hope you'll enjoy this. So I'm going to share with you a traditional fold which has been on my wish list for years, and I've only recently plucked up the courage. It's called a kusadama, which means medicine ball. So it's traditional and it's like a sort of ball of flowers that will help someone feel better. It does, it really does. At least it makes you feel joy to make, and it's certainly a beautiful thing to give to someone else. It's a very special, amazing piece of origami. So it's a ball of flowers, and there are 36 little pieces, so it's very much a project. If you get going on this, it will keep you nice and busy for a little while. Here I've actually used wrapping paper, which is coloured on one side. It has this lovely metallic colour on one side and white on the other. So you might enjoy using something like wrapping paper, or if you have papers, different colours on each side. Plain is also beautiful as well. And I'll be showing you how to make just a single flower and then explaining how to build up one of these balls. So this is what it looks like with white, which is also very beautiful. I don't think you can go wrong actually with the beauty of this. It's an intriguing one because we'll fold a little flower, kind of turn it inside out and then assemble it. So it's a really good one for focus and concentration. I hope you're going to enjoy this. So you will in the end need 36 pieces of paper, and they all need to be the same size. I am going to show you just one, and then the idea is you can continue. So but it's a really nice longer project, which I think is really special. So grab yourself something to press on, and I've got some paper. I'm going to show you from quite big squares, which would start to make, as you saw, quite a big kusadama medicine ball. It depends how big you want to make your ball, but it's good, I think, for the first one just to practice, and then after that think about the 36 ones that you'd like to do. So just going to show you can make a square out of any paper, and this is what I did with the wrapping paper. Wrapping paper actually quite often has a grid on the back, which is really helpful because you can cut out your square. So I'm simply folding my piece of paper in half. I've been really neat and tidy and kept the corners matched up, and then opening it up, and I'm going to do a little tear, and again I can then just tear it myself, keeping my hand close to the edge. So for actually assembling the ball, it involves actually needle and thread, so stitching things together and then possibly glue, depending on how you do. It is possible without, but it's pretty tricky. So I'm going to take a corner, but in Japan they often do use glue with assembling something beautiful with origami, and yeah, I don't see it as needing to be too just about folds, but creating something beautiful and enjoying that process. I'm going to remove this rectangle, so I'm turning it over, bringing it up and squashing it down. And hopefully the beauty with this YouTube video is you can go slowly, you can change the speed, you can pause, you can fast forward. If I'm showing this square every time and you don't want to see this, then you can fast forward it. But I'm just encouraging you to just take it as time out for yourself. Going slowly, I think, is the best thing. So we already have a diagonal line, and we're going to now do the other diagonal line. So I've just opened it up and bringing it down there. There we go. And a squash. Now we've done both diagonals. The key now is to turn it over, and it makes a little tent-like shape. Now if you were to use coloured paper, or it's coloured on one side and not on the other, then actually this side that we're on now would be coloured. I'm going to just briefly colour it in. So I should have explained that if you were using coloured paper, but I'm sure you can easily change it over. So it's this side. I'm adding a bit of colour just so you can see which side is which if you do use two coloured paper. But as I said, I think white's beautiful as well, so anything will work. Right, so I'm on this side, so it's almost like the tent, and we're going to fold it in half to make a rectangle. There we go. And just take your time, nice and relaxing that way. open it up, and we're going to do the other horizontal or vertical. There we go. Lovely. So you've got your colour there on the inside at the moment. I just want you to put your finger underneath the middle and push, and it goes pop, pop feeling. And then you can bring in the sides and squash it down, like so. So it's looking like a sort of a triangle, and you can look down and it should look like that. Now our next step is to take this top diagonal side and bring it down along the vertical, so it sort of sticks out really. Again, usually best on a solid surface, then you can see what you're doing. So it was that outside line, and I brought it along the vertical like so. Now undo that, and I want you to pop your finger into that little pocket. There we go. And then putting your finger in, I just want you to bring it over so that it actually comes right in the middle. So that long line is right in the middle there. And it actually already looks a bit like a flower, doesn't it? But it's not. There we go. So I'll just show you one more time. So it had been like this. I opened it up. I popped my finger into the middle there, and I encouraged it to bring over that long line into the middle. There we go. Okay. So our next step is to take this bottom edge, and we're going to bring up along the vertical line, like so. So I'm going to take that edge and bring it along the vertical line. Again, maybe on a solid surface. So like that. And the same as other edge along that vertical line. There we go. There's lots of lovely steps. And then you do this 36 times if you really want to make your own ball. But I thoroughly recommend it. So there's a little bit here that's sticking down. I just want you to take this up and keep it lined up so it'll line up there and stick up there. There we go. We've done one side out of 4. So now turn over that page, tucked away. And we're going to do the same with the other side. So taking this edge and we're bringing it along the vertical, like so. There we go. Hopefully you begin to get the hang of this. Let's say hello for a moment. So bringing it along that line there. And again, opening that up, popping your finger into that pocket. And the same thing, you're then bringing that long line over to completely to the middle. So it should go right in the middle there, and squashing it down like so. And then the same thing, bottom edge, bring along the vertical line. And I do love this sort of, there's a repetition in here, which means that hopefully by the 4th side, you're getting the hang of it and you're enjoying how your brain learns, which often is repetition. Obviously at school, that's what we're encouraged to do it over and over again, and it eventually gets into your brain and it's easier. It's quite nice, the feeling when it does seem to start to work. Sort of feel comfortable, you know what you're doing, you've gone through that unknown phase, and then you come out the other end. Not completely perfect, it'll be good enough for me. That's right. Right, again, this hanging down bit, bringing it up. There's no such thing as perfection. I think tolerating that is there's something very perfect about origami, which is lovely, but it will never be truly perfect, and that's okay. There we go. And again, you can sort of close a little leaflet. There we go. So we've done one side, and now we're going to turn to the back and we're going to do the same thing. So again, outside edge, bringing along that vertical line. There we go. Same thing, undo that fold and pop your fingers in. There. And then the same thing, I've popped my finger in there and I'm just going to squash it down like so. I'm taking that bottom edge and bringing it along the vertical line. Again, just take your time. Here we go. Same with the other side. Bottom edge, bring along the vertical line. I think I'll see what I'm doing for a bit. There we go. And again, this bottom bit that's sticking out, bringing up along the middle line, in the middle, all lined up. That's it. And again, you can turn the little page, take the outside edge and bring it along the vertical line. Same thing, opening that up, put your fingers in. Oh, nice and fiddly, isn't it? I think it really keeps up your concentration. And again, tilting that over, tilting that over until it's in the middle. As I said, it's not perfect, but I can tolerate that. There we go. And then that bottom edge along that vertical line. Again, easier on a solid surface. And I guess the fingers each time are encouraging the paper the right direction. Again, there, and often you're sort of putting your finger in there, encouraging it, maybe encouraging yourself too. Again, there we go. Taking that bottom bit sticking out and bringing it up along the middle line. That's it. And squashing it down. There we go. Now, it's looking like it is becoming a flower. And I love this moment because we've done all of that careful folding, and in just a moment we're going to open it all up. There's something quite liberating about that. So we're going to undo each of these little folds. That's it. Undoing it all. But the lines are still there, the folds, the directions are still kept. There's a memory in the paper, and it will all come together again in a different way. So opening it all up, look at this beautiful thing. There we go. Now I'm just going to turn it over so it's coming up like a lovely flower there. But what I want you to do is a bit like we did that little pop earlier. Pop your finger underneath the middle and push, pop, and it goes the other way. So actually now this is showing the white on this side and the coloured on this side. What we're going to do next, actually it's quite good from the outside, is each time we're going to take the sort of vertical, the horizontal, and bringing it up around that long line. So this is sort of takes a little bit of getting used to. So okay, I'll do it so you can see it's in that flower position. And if you're to look inside, that's what you'd see. What I'm going to do is be tightening up around it. So from the outside, each time we're going to take that horizontal or vertical line and bring it along that diagonal line. So I'm just taking these sides like that. This is on the outside of your flower. Now turn it around the other way, and I'm still holding the back where it is. And what I want you to do is just take the sides and just fold them in. There's no adding any extra line, it's already there, and then pushing that down. So that's one of your sides, and it's bringing the flower inside itself. How did someone find this out? It is amazing. Right, we're on to the next corner. So again, it will be, if we look from the outside of it, again, it's the sort of the square, these vertical horizontal lines, bringing that to the diagonal line. Can you see? So it's each time bringing from the sides, and that's what it looks like from the outside. And then holding that where it is, looking at the inside and bringing those little side bits in. And you do need to be holding that in place or it doesn't all just work. Right, and it's quite easy at first. By the fourth one, it's pretty difficult actually. Can you see you're producing this little convoluted flower in the middle? So hope you're beginning to get the hang of this. It is tricky, and that's its joy. It will be very satisfying when it comes together. It's already looking lovely, isn't it? So we're going to go now onto our third side. So again, from the outside of our flower, we're going to take these outside vertical or horizontal, and again sort of swinging it round, almost swinging it round to that diagonal line, and it's all getting very tight inside. Again, holding that in place on the outside, turning around the inside. It's a bit of acrobatics, and again the same thing as we've done before, just the sides, bringing those in and then pushing that down inside. And again, I suppose I'm just giving it a little fold inwards. Can you see this lovely flower is forming? I know it's tricky. Tolerate the difficulty. Your tongue is bound to come out with this. It's going to require so much concentration, but it's really lovely when it starts to come together. So on to the last one. This is the hardest of all. You can see how tight it's getting. So onto the outside of the flower again, and encourage things into place. There's only one way you can go with this. So these outside, which is the horizontal or vertical, brought to the diagonal. Now you're going to have to twist the entire, almost the entire thing around to that diagonal line. Again, I'm just encouraging this into place. So I'm bringing these to touch. And now actually, the good thing is you can sort of hold it there. Can you see? So it's like this. And I brought this outside to that diagonal line on both sides. Now look inside. We're almost there. So I'm holding that there so it's keeping the right position. If it's open, you just can't fold it in. And it's going to be tricky, but it's the same principle. I'm going to try to fold in these little side bits. One's going. I hope you can see. It's a bit hard to see, isn't it? So one goes in and then the other, and you're just using the lines that you've already made previously. And as I said, this is not easy, but it should push into position. You can see you could actually have a flower which has little petals sticking out. But again, I'm going to take this and push it inwards. And the effect you have, so I'm just pushing that inwards. And then I guess I'm just going to firm up every one of these, just so it's nice and sharp. And what you've got is a very long sort of flower. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. I hope it's worked for you. I know it's a little bit of a challenge, but that's good. And if you've done some colours, then you get that white brought into the middle, which gives it this lovely effect. And so how to make your kusadama. We've only made 1 out of 36 there. This would be quite a big kusadama, but you could, it's up to you what sort of size you're going to make it. I made this out of really quite tiny ones. But to bring it together, you have to make the flowers all exactly the same size, and you need to do 36 of them. 36. So the way that we're going to do it, I've only shown you how to do one flower. You have to do that 36 times. So to organise it is in bunches of 6. So here we go. So you're going to do 6 bunches of 6. So to get 6 together, all I've done is thread through with a needle. So you're going to need needle and thread. And you would take your flower with thread and you would just put it through the end, but obviously you need a thread in there, and you can just bring it through with a thread. And if you do a sort of a smallish circle, 6 of them, and it starts to form already, you can see there is a curve to that, and then tie it in a little loop, probably fairly tightish but not super tight. I would guess that's about right. So you do this 6 bunches of 6. Then to get it together to form a ball, you should be able to take one and put a thread which should hang from underneath there, so you get a longer thread, maybe a thicker sort of thread, and put your thread, let me show you a little bit how you do it. So thread already. So you would get your, let me see, get your loop that you've already tied, and you would put a thread underneath it. So this is, gather that up and then tie it, and then put in your next one, tie it, and so on. Now possibly it may come together. It is possible just through tying. I have to say I tried it 4 times and it looked just a bit lumpy, which I wasn't happy with. So actually in the end I was still using the tying, but I did push some glue in there as well. So you could use something like PVA glue, because I just knew it would annoy me too much that it didn't look perfect. And actually what I did then, my kusadama, what I did was I was pushing them together, tied together, added in a little bit of glue, and I found actually something that it could sit in was very useful, because then I could push it together and make sure it's really forming a round ball. So maybe you can find something circular you can build it in, and make sure you have one long thread hanging out of it, so you have been tying it up, and then leave it to dry, and then hopefully you'll end up with your kusadama. So that's your challenge if you're up for it. And I'm thinking this is really lovely for spring and the feeling of flowers emerging. So I really hope you can give it a go, and you will be so chuffed with yourself if you can do this. You can do it definitely. And it's really, really lovely to get stuck into. Very much look forward to seeing the kusadamas. I might just do a plain one next. I've rather fallen in love with this white one. You can just see the lovely structure and shape there. So anything will look great, and I wish you lovely, lovely happy folding. Thank you.